listen, let's talk about it. Why do so many Christian women struggle to take up space? Why do we second guess our voice in the meeting? Why do we shrink when we walk into a room full of men? Why do we feel like we got to soften ourselves so we don't come across as too much or too strong? I'm going to tell you why. Because faith and culture have spent centuries, literally hundreds of years, teaching women to be small. And the worst part, it's so subtle. It's so woven into our sermons, our songs, our families, that half the time we don't even realize that it's happening. But today, we are snatching the veil off. Today, we're going to tell the truth, because the truth is you were never called to be small. Let me say that again. You were never called to be small. God never called you to shrink. For those folk in the back, God never called you to shrink. If anything, God's been raising up bold, powerful, disruptive women since the beginning of time. Women who walked in rooms they weren't supposed to be in. Women who spoke when they were supposed to stay silent. Okay? Women who took up space and changed history because of it. And sister of the Most High God, it's your turn. Did you hear what I said? It's your turn. This is the first step that you gotta be willing to embrace. Choose to show up. That's the first step. You got to choose to show up. I know it sounds simple, but tell me this. Be honest. How many times have you stayed quiet when you know you should have said something, or you knew you had something to say? How many times have you waited for somebody to affirm you before you moved, before you took the job, before you honored your desires? How many times have you felt the nudge from God, but second guessed yourself out of obedience? Oh, see, confidence doesn't start when people approve of you. It starts when you approve of you. Let me introduce you to a few women who embodied this. One of my favorite heroes in the Bible, Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now listen, we hear about Mary all the time. She's painted as this meek, quiet, angelic girl who just went along with the plan. But let's be honest, Mary was bold. She had every reason to shrink. She had every reason to say no. She had every reason to let fear keep her small. She was a teenager. She was unmarried. She was pregnant, and in a culture that could have stoned her for that. Y'all hearing what I'm saying? And when the angel rolled up, talking about, congratulations, you're carrying the Son of God, she could have backed out. But instead, she was like, be it unto me. Be it unto me. She chose to show up. She chose to carry that calling, even with the whispers, even with the judgment, even with the uncertainty. Sis was like, I'm going to do this thing. What is the thing you know you're called to, but fear has you hesitating? Come on, ladies. Come on. What is it? Because let me tell you, your calling isn't waiting on their approval. Your confidence isn't waiting on consensus. You don't need everybody to understand before you step into what God has called you to do and step into what God made you to be. You just need to choose to show up. Show up, woman of God. Biblical women took up space, which means you can too. You think Mary was the only one? Baby, girl, let's talk about some other ladies who had the audacity to take up space. Let's talk about Deborah, who sat in a seat of power when the world said it belonged to men. She led a whole nation. She commanded armies and did not ask for permission. Judges 4 and 5. Let's talk about Mary of Bethany, who walked into a room full of men. Let me say that again. She walked into a room full of men, broke cultural norms, anointed the feet of Jesus while everybody stared. And when they had something to say about it, Jesus shut it down. That's John 12. Let's talk about the woman at the well. A woman with a past, a woman who was dismissed, a woman who was overlooked, a woman who was shamed. But after one conversation with Jesus, she ran back to her town and became the first evangelist in the entire New Testament. John 4, women of God. These women were not just bold, they were disruptive. Are you hearing me? They were disruptive. And that's why their names are being spoken still till this day. So let's call it out. Let's go there today. I'm born and raised in this thing, so I feel like I can say what I'm about to say. The church has taught women to be small in many cases. The church has taught women to be modest, to be gentle, to be humble. And while there is beauty in humility, humility was never meant to be a muzzle. Modesty was never meant to be erasure. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that being a good woman of God meant being small. That if we take up too much space, if we own our voice, if we show up like we belong, then you're doing too much. You're ruining the hierarchy. You're doing too much. But not anymore, honey. Not anymore. Because when you silence yourself, when you shrink, when you wait for somebody to say, okay, now you can lead. Okay, now you can do it under our terms. You're not just doing yourself a disservice. You're dishonoring the God who put the power in you in the first place. Honey, in 2025, it's time to show up. This is your moment. This is your moment. This is your invitation to take up space, to walk into rooms like you belong there, to speak up like your words matter, to own your power without apology, because that's exactly, y'all don't hear me today. That's exactly what God created you to do. I'm done. That's all I got. Come back for the next episode. If this message hit you right where it needed to, drop a comment. Let me know. Let me know what's one way you're going to show up. One way you're going to choose to show up. What are you going to do differently this week? Number 2, if you need more of this, book me to speak at your next women's event, or join me for Crowned Confidence in 90 days. That's my new signature coaching program for high achieving women of faith who are ready to walk into their God-given anointed power and presence and take over without losing your femininity, without losing your faith, without losing your sexiness, without losing your softness. Yay to the glory of God. If you want that, check the comments. Most importantly, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'm fired up now. Woo, child, we're about to go in. We're about to disrupt like women were always meant to. See you next time.